Welcome to And I Like Large Parties. Join me as I chat with amazing women business owners in the events industry, some that I've worked with and some that I can't wait to work with. We'll be sipping cocktails while discussing their passions, hurdles, and accomplishments. You're going to love it. Thanks for listening. So today I'm sitting down with Candice Moore. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. She is the owner of DeCourtcey Events, and she does full-scale wedding planning. Mm-hmm. Do you also do coordination?
Yes. So I operate two brands. So
okay.
The Styled Stem was my original brand, which I started back in 2019. That's our day of and wedding management brand.
Okay.
DeCourtcey Events is everything else. So full production, nonprofit, corporate weddings, and everything in between.
Gotcha. Okay. So a little later, I want to touch on the differences between wedding planning, full scale, and then the day of coordination that I see a lot of businesses also offer to their clients. Okay.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
All right. So today we're having iced coffee because it's 11 o'clock in the morning. So we're keeping it light given the time of day. I like to ask my guests to, while we're having our conversation about, everything you and what you do, to think about a cocktail, mocktail, any kind of beverage, since this is conversations and cocktails, I'm using air quotes, that you feel embodies who you are, your business, your brand, what it is that you're bringing to the table in this industry.
Got it.
So before you get into telling me all about you and how you got started, why don't you tell people where they can find you?
On Instagram.
Mm-hmm. And that would be
at @the_styled_stem and at DeCourtcey Events.
Okay, great.
And then, of course, our website.
What is that?
www.thestyledStem.com and DeCourtceyEvents.com.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. Okay, so tell me, who are you? How did you get into this industry?
I am just a girl from Queens. No, but seriously, I grew up in Queens, New York, and Jennifer Lopez is from New York.
Oh, yes.
And as a teenager, I watched The Wedding Planner and fell in love. And I knew I wanted to be in hospitality, food and beverage, events in some way, shape, or form. So I applied to Temple University for their food and beverage program. During orientation, decided I didn't want to do any business classes.
Wow, early on.
Before I took one class, when I saw the curriculum, I was like, nope, this isn't for me.
Okay.
And I was fortunate enough to learn about their tourism and hospitality programs. So all of my college experience was about hotels, special events, that world. So I interned with Marriott in events, also the CVB here in events. And I was like, this is my lane, like being in control, seeing the end result, being the person that people are looking to for control and chaos.
Yeah.
Felt good for me. It was very fulfilling. So weddings specifically came into play after I followed the hotel track and wasn't loving that. And I met a woman who is now extremely successful. She doesn't do weddings anymore, but she does like Grammy parties and stuff like that.
Wow.
And it was while I was in between careers. So I left hotels, didn't know my next step, ended up working at Enterprise Rent-A-Car for about 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
One of my regular clients was a wedding planner and designer. And she hired me as a contractor for a day of coordination. So I started in Nigerian weddings.
Wow.
Which is kind of like being thrown to the wolves.
Okay.
Like Nigerian weddings, Indian weddings, very similar as far as scale.
Okay.
And then being Indian myself, having African in my family. My sister is married to a man from Ghana.
Okay.
So I'm very familiar with cultural norms within both of those cultures. So it was fun. It was a little bit intimidating, but it was fun. And I felt like I can do anything after I started there. So worked with her for 2 or 3 years. Then I met another woman who was doing strictly day of coordination. She was in New York, Jersey, and breaking into Philly. And she hired me as a contractor. So I freelanced with her for 7 seasons doing day of and realized that what I was offering was not day of coordination.
Okay.
So, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But to make a long story short, I spent 7 years with her. I was working with clients for over 12 months sometimes. Sometimes it was 18 months they would book, and I would meet with them every single month, plan their wedding with them, and then only be compensated for coordination.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really fitting anymore, and I knew that I wanted to do my own thing. I'd spent so much time gaining this experience in weddings. And I was like, it's time. I'm going to do it on my own. So I started the Style Stem first. That was in 2019, right before COVID struck and took over everyone's lives. And that was actually a floral and planning business when I first started. So I actually became a florist, which was not ever in my wheelhouse, but I loved it. And then I became a funeral, like, retail florist because of COVID. So all the weddings I had postponed, canceled. It was just worst case scenario.
Yeah, crazy time.
Very crazy time for starting a wedding business. So I had to pivot. I had a full-time job, and I was like, I'm going to quit by the end of the year. And then COVID happened, so I was like, okay, my plans are not going to happen that way. So I shifted to micro weddings, the retail florist path until the world opened back up. And then I was booked and busy doing coordination, but I couldn't get full-service clients because the price points were just not making sense. So this is like 2021 now, 2022. And I got pregnant. So I was like, well, florists, no more.
Yeah.
Can't do flowers out of my house anymore. It's just not going to work. And I decided I'm great at day of. Like, that's my niche. That's what my experience has been in for the past decade. So I can't abandon that. But I also have the skill set of project management and doing start to finish venue procurement, vendor procurement. So I decided to launch the second brand, which is DeCourtcey Events. And that's our full service brand. And now here we are.
Wow. What a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about being at the right place at the right time, though. You were working at Enterprise, and it sounds like what really kicked it off was, you doing that coordination for that wedding for the customer.
Yeah. And she was the planner, and I knew, like, when I was in the hotels and when I was at the CVB, I loved events, but I got hired at Marriott in the front desk.
Okay.
Like, that was what my degree was in. So it made sense to just follow this through and go to the front office manager path and make mom proud that I'm following my degree.
Yeah.
And I wasn't fulfilled.
Sure.
I was working for someone else. I was praying I got holidays off. I was 21 years old, living in DC, working overnight as the manager on duty. And it's like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not worth it for me.
Yeah,
so I just left. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then I ended up at Enterprise, which taught me a lot of my sales ability. I didn't even know I had a sales bone in me until I worked at Enterprise. I was very successful there. I had the leadership skills, and then I had the sales skills, and eventually it was evident that, like, I'm going to be good at whatever I try to do. Yeah. I just need to be happy doing it.
Sure.
I wasn't happy washing cars in high heels and a suit. So eventually I parted ways with that. But meeting Lynn from Lily V Events was the company that gave me that opportunity. It was like coming back to what I knew I loved, events. And it was weddings, which was even better.
Yeah.
So.
I think one of the interesting things that you said, it's just proof that sometimes you might be working in a job that you really don't think you're acquiring the skills that are going to help you with what you want your next thing to be or your real thing to be. Right. But, as you said, you did a lot of sales, and that experience and honing those skills, who knew how valuable that was going to be once you actually found what it is that you wanted to do. So it's like every blip.
Everything has a purpose.
Yeah, it does. Everything kind of happens for a reason. Yeah. Sometimes we have to stop and remind ourselves, I think, of that.
Yeah. I do that often because I've been getting, on consultations, the new generation asking questions like, why do you do this? Or why you over so-and-so? And I said, I can't speak for anyone else, but I know who I am and what I bring to the table. There's not a lot of planners that have customer service in their background prior to becoming a planner, that have leadership and sales prior to becoming a planner. Like, they've built that skill set within their businesses. I've also worked in, like, retail environments. I worked for Men's Warehouse, Cold Stone Creamery when I've been working since I was like 14 years old. Yeah. So those skills, like, I don't discredit any of the jobs that I've had. I feel like every single job has made me the person that I am today.
Right. It's helped you in some way.
In some way. And that's valuable. So
tell me about the name DeCourtcey. So, I cheated a little bit, because I like to look up the guests and find out a little bit about them. And I saw that it's named after your father, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Yeah. So my dad, his name was Junior DeCourtcey Moore.
Okay.
And he was a hospitality man himself. He was a chef. He owned restaurants. He was very much a supporter of becoming an entrepreneur. Like, that was his thing. he was the dreamer between him and my mom. My mom was the practical.
Right.
You're going to business school.
It usually works out that way.
You're following the hotel path.
Yeah.
I'm not paying for a degree for nothing.
Right.
And my dad was the rebel.
Okay.
Follow your dreams, babe.
Mm-hmm.
You have the makings of this, and you're going to be so successful. And he was the pusher in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
So I always knew I was going to eventually work for myself.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to cry, but when he passed away, I was so busy with my day job, working for the day of company that I was with for 7 years as a contractor. I was busy every single weekend, literally in the summertime. So I barely spent any time with him, and they moved here from New York, my parents, the year that he died. So I felt a lot of guilt, him being so close, 20 minutes away, and I barely got to see him, and then he passed. Mm-hmm. And I didn't make my dream, before he passed, right? I didn't make it come true. So it was like a fire got lit under me because I knew I had to do this. I was going to be miserable. I was not going to be happy if I stuck it out. And I actually, a lot of people don't know this, but I actually considered partnering with the day of company and, offering to launch a full service arm for her. She wasn't interested in that. So I was like, okay, this is the sign. I can't, there's only so much I can do here. Yeah. So I'll just do it myself. And when I started the Styled Stem, it was kind of my outlet. I did the flowers for the funeral. I gave my mom flowers and all. I just loved that. And I always did that. So I was this is a nice way to kind of, so when I decided to launch DeCourtcey, I felt like the Styled Stem didn't really fit what I was trying to do, which was the full service, larger business production capability. Yeah. And I just felt like it was a good way to, pay tribute to him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's really beautiful. What an honor.
Thank you.
What a really great way to honor your dad. And, you're living out what it is that he wanted for you at this point. So I think that's great.
It's
a good legacy.
He would have been the person I talked to all day about what's going on and what do you think about this? And my mom, she supports me, but she doesn't really engage in the conversation because she was in the same job from when I was 5 years old until she retired. So she doesn't get it.
Right.
She tries.
Sure.
But, her mindset is, can you pay your bills?
Yes.
Can you take care of your daughter?
Right. Well, she's the practical one, like you said. That's funny. Tell me about the services that you offer at DeCourtcey. Let's focus on that for a sec.
Yeah. So DeCourtcey is all-encompassing. Okay. And I know full service means different things with different companies, which is why we have such a lovely mixed-up industry like we do. But we do full service planning.
What does full service mean for you?
That's exactly
your brand.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
Great.
So we do everything from venue procurement, vendor procurement, contract review and negotiation, through design. So what is the space going to look like? And this is for weddings, nonprofit galas, corporate events, brand experiences. So any type of event. All the way to execution. Yeah. So day of, we have a staff of at least 5 to 6 people, minimum, depending on the scope of the event. We also do destination weddings under DeCourtcey, elopements, and a couple of things coming this year that I don't know if I'm going to share yet.
You don't have to share, but I'm excited for whatever they are.
Yeah. So I was looking at my resume randomly, and I have over 16 years in this space. So I have some interesting things coming down the pipe.
Good. So the day of coordination, you offer that.
We do.
What does that look like for someone that's interested in it?
So the way we do it is we offer 2 options. One package where we start working with clients 9 months out. We call that our wedding management package. A couple books us, they lock in their date, they get an onboarding call, and then we meet with them 9 months out from their wedding every month. Make sure they're not making any major mistakes. We're checking in. They have all of our planning tools. They're staying on top of their vendor bookings. They do all of the planning and bookings themselves.
Gotcha.
We just make sure they're hitting their planning milestones on time and they don't miss anything. About 8 to 12 weeks out, we start reaching out to their vendors, introducing ourselves, making sure they know we're point of contact for day of, collecting certificates of insurance, confirmations for the timeline and things like that. And then about a week to 2 weeks out, we send the final timeline to all vendors and the venue. wedding party, bride and groom, family, immediate family, and they get 2 coordinators the day of the wedding for 12 hours. So that's our most booked and our most comprehensive coordination package.
Gotcha.
We have a scaled back version where we start 3 months out, which is basically you've done everything and we're praying that you did it right. So when we step in at 3 months, we're checking in, we're doing final confirmations, we're doing 2 people for the day of. I forgot to mention we also do rehearsal coordination because we want to meet the family, meet the wedding party, and the venue contact. And that's for like our type A clients that really don't need that monthly check-in every month. So those 3 calls at the end, that's enough for them. Not everybody, that doesn't fit everybody. So we typically go with the management package when we're on the coordination side.
Okay. It's nice that you have the different offerings and at the different price points, I would imagine, to fit the budget and the needs of a variety of clients.
Yeah, I struggled a while with offering day of because that was the background I came from.
Yeah.
And the reason I left it was because I had a big issue with the name. Day of coordination is not what I was doing, which is why we have wedding management. And a lot of people that offer day of services now offer like 1 phone call and it's, 6 weeks of support, sometimes less than that. And it doesn't fit what we do. And I don't love how there's so many interpretations of things in this industry, and that kind of blurs the lines and makes it harder to explain to clients what we do.
Speaking of blurs the lines, so I had someone on the podcast a few months back, right? And she's a photographer. And one of the things that we were discussing is when there is no planner, no event planner team, no coordinators, nothing, how sometimes the responsibility, it lies, unfairly sometimes on the photographer to kind of, and sometimes the DJ even. I had a DJ on and we were kind of discussing the same thing.
Yeah.
They wind up becoming the de facto planner and ushering people to where they need to be for photos and things of that nature. When you are on site as an event planner, talk to me about expectations. Like, do people expect you to be doing tablescapes and decor things? And just what are some things within your industry specifically that, dare I say, can be troublesome or annoying because it's really not a responsibility that you signed up for?
Yeah.
I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. And that's another reason why we have 2 brands. So I know we're going to circle back to that, but I'll stick to the coordination side. So my specialty, my superpower is logistics and managing chaos and preventing the chaos. Oftentimes when someone is looking for a day of coordinator, they're looking for someone to handle their DIY setup.
Okay.
That is the biggest cringe moment for me in a consult because they don't see the value in having a point person so that the photographer doesn't become the usher and the DJ's not making things up, as he goes because he's being tapped to do it. So when I go through a whole consult and they're telling me their point points, which perfectly line up with our services, and then they talk about, well, what about setting up our decor? I always ask, well, what type of decor are we talking about? If it's table numbers and a guest book and a card box, sure. But I can't be in 3 places at once. So if you need someone who's going to make sure hair and makeup is on schedule and wedding party is ready to go while you're doing first look with your groom and the family members are where they need to be and the shuttle is here and the vendors have arrived on time and I can't be setting up your tables. That's not what you're hiring me for. Right. So I would say that's something that comes up quite often. And that's when I started to say, okay, we need to start shifting away from this service because that's what they think they're getting. I'm like, no, we have to bring a 3rd person if that's what you're looking for.
Gotcha.
So that's a big one for me. I think that is so blurry.
Okay. Tell me, since we're talking about, more decor kinds of elements, tell me about the styled stem. What do you offer?
Yeah. So the styled stem, that brand is only coordination now. So it used to be floral and design plus planning.
Gotcha.
Now, because of DeCourtcey being full service, that's where we layer in design.
I see.
So if someone comes to us and they're like, yep, we know we need a full planner, we have our venue or we don't have our venue, but I also have no idea creatively what I want this to look like, that's our ideal client for DeCourtcey. So for those clients, we go through foundational stuff for the first 3 to 6 months, depending on how far out they book. And then we transition to design. So in the past, I was collecting inventory. I've had boxes and boxes of chargers.
Tea lights.
Yes. Cylinder vases. And
Yes.
so many things.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm never going to use this again.
Yeah, I know.
And it worked when we were doing the florals, right? Because it became a one-stop shop.
Sure.
So you can get your flowers. I'll purchase the vases.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked on an honor system. So if we ordered something that we didn't have in inventory, the couple got to use it. And then the next couple got to use it and, whatever. So on the DeCourtcey side now, we don't do as much DIY. We will source additional vendors to support our finalized design concept that we've created. Mm-hmm. So it's still a one-stop shop because we're responsible for the design direction. And it's not too many hands in the pot, right? Like if I say this is what we need to a vendor, they're not misinterpreting anything or doing their own creative things. So that, I don't know if I answered your question, but
yeah, no, you did.
Yeah,
I can see the differences between the two.
Yeah, so that lives under DeCourtcey.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You mentioned certificate of insurance. I am noticing more and more that when, I'm hired to provide decor for an event, that is becoming standard.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter even the scale of the event. A lot of times I was only seeing that when we were hired for corporate events because, they're very legal and their legal team has to look at your contract. I mean, they are really, on the up and above board with everything because it's corporate. But I'm seeing this request for license and certificate of insurance, even for much smaller scale events. And it's usually the venues who are requesting this.
Yep.
I want to just talk about, what are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with that? Tell me about it.
I definitely agree with it.
Okay.
I'm actually of the mindset if they're not asking for it, I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. And, on the venue side, I understand why, because too many couples think they're going to DIY everything and hire so-and-so to set up the decor, but they're not a legit business and they don't actually know what they're doing. And then they show up with duct tape and they're, you know what I mean? So I agree with it. I think the additional insured edition is a little bit excessive.
I'm seeing that also.
Yeah, that's
that they
becoming
want to
more
be
and more
added,
common.
Right, as an additional
and I think that part is okay, you have insurance, I have insurance, we're all fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but,
you're legit, I'm legit. Let's do this.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
But if they ask for it, we just make sure we collect it.
Yeah.
And when I do have conversations with couples that tell me well, my cousin's a DJ, and I'm like, well, have they done weddings? Do they have a legit business? I'm asking them the questions because honestly, if they're hiring mostly friends and family, they're not our client because there is going to be a headache. There is going to be a misstep and we're going to be the ones looked at to resolve it. And we just can't afford that liability. Yeah.
So what is your process when you are approached by someone who is not your ideal client?
I'm a very direct person.
Okay.
I don't know if it's because I'm from New York. In a Caribbean household, you kind of have to be. But I don't really know why there's a stigma in the industry about turning clients away. I just let them know, we're not available for your date. And that can mean anything, right? It's just the polite way of saying no. Yeah. So that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll get a client that reaches out from a venue that we don't want to work at because of whatever reason, but we just know we don't need to work there.
Okay.
And we'll just say, sorry, we're not available. Here are other coordinators you can reach out to or other planners you can reach out to and just move on.
Well, now I'm curious. You don't need to say the name of the venue, but what is the criteria for we don't want to be involved in anything at this venue?
Yeah. It varies. So I won't name names, but this particular venue, we had a client contracted there. They booked us for coordination, and this was during COVID. They booked the venue, and we ended up having to cancel their they canceled their contract 2 weeks before the wedding. And the way that it was handled was so unprofessional for me. You can't redeem yourself with me. As a planner, I can choose to never subject myself to this ever again. Yeah. And what happened, they essentially, I think my theory is that they double booked the date. And when the wedding got postponed, they didn't realize they made a mistake. And to try to backtrack, they just treated our client like crap and backed out of everything they said that she was getting. She spent almost $10,000 on this venue.
Jeez.
And everything that she thought and understood about the package she booked ended up not being true. And they just blatantly did not honor it. And she had to cancel. And luckily, because I've been in the industry so long, and I'm always about networking. I'm always about like what am I not aware of? Like what's available to us? And I found the perfect venue by chance. And I said to her, hey, have you heard back about your refund? And she said no. And I was like, what are you guys thinking? And she's like, we're going to just have to move forward because we can't afford to spend money on another venue 2 weeks out. And she's like, but I'm just really nervous. And I was like, I just had a venue offer their space for free.
Wow.
Come see it. And she said yes on the spot.
Yeah.
But that unheard of. Like that, what doesn't normally happen.
No.
So the criteria, honestly, the first thing I consider with any vendor that I will work with or not is professionalism and work ethic. Because you could be amazing at your job and at your craft, but if you're an awful person to work with, I don't need that energy because then it affects me and my team. And the couple can see that. So,
speaking of uncomfortable situations and conversations, talk to me about money, like budget. How do you have those conversations with your clients? Not just in terms of what you charge, like your fees, right? That investment to have you working with them. But like, I guess expectations. Yeah. So they have a budget and, you know, maybe the expectations that they have for what this wedding looks like doesn't quite fit the reality of the price, the money. Yeah. So how do you handle these conversations? So I'm really good about having those conversations before they become my client. Okay. Because I don't like to tell someone how to spend their money once they are confirmed with me, because at the end of the day, it's your wedding, right? Or your event. So I try to catch those conversations early. I don't think there are often times where our price point doesn't necessarily make sense. That's a lie. There's definitely times when that's the case. I was thinking about which direction I was going to go with that answer. So I'll tackle the first part, like expectations, right? Like what you're describing versus what you just told me you're willing to spend and that misalignment. Yeah. And I'll use a real scenario that just happened on a consult. I had a client reach out. She found me on Instagram, loved everything I was posting and like my personality, whatever. She's like, I'm so excited to connect with you, booked a consult immediately. And we get on the call and the first thing, red flag for me, I have a planner already and I'm getting ready to fire her. Oh. And I said, okay, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, let's talk about the wedding. Tell me what you're looking for. Let's just have a conversation. That is so professional. Yeah. Like, why? What? Yeah. I wanted to because I wanted to know, is this person crazy and am I about to get fired too? So I just kept it very like neutral. Good for you. You know, tell me about let's focus on the wedding. And she's telling me about the wedding. It sounds like it's going to be beautiful, really personal, intimate wedding for, I think she said 50 to 60 people at her, you know, a private residence. Okay. And she starts describing like what she was having issues with just by talking about the wedding with the other planner. And she mentioned things like, you know, she's not following through on vendor quotes and things like that. And I was like, oh, okay, were you working with her for full service or coordination? And she inquired with me for day of. But then during the conversation, she kept talking about full service things. So she was like, it was full service. And I was like, okay, so let's keep talking. And I'm like trying to gate, that was red flag number 2. I'm like, why would this planner not be doing what they said they were going to do? Right. And it was things that a full planner would do, like follow up with vendors, reach out to vendors, close the loop with vendors. You know, we're ready to contract. And then she would drop the ball and not follow up, like things like that. And we get to the part about her budget. And she tells me she's like, there isn't really a budget for the wedding, but I have a budget for the planner. And that is red flag number 3. Like, what do you mean you don't have a budget? Like, I need you. She said that she didn't have, it was her dad paying for everything and the planner because she was already working with someone. She has that budget to work with and she can't go above it. Okay. So I said, okay, well, what's the budget? She's like, well, you know, there may be some, I'm like, okay, well, our fee starts at X. Right.
And she was like, okay, well, that's just not going to work. So I was like, okay. And I had already explained like what we offer, what we do. And she's like, yep, that's exactly what we need. That's what we hired this other person for.
Yeah, but they don't want to pay for it.
Right.
Okay.
So now we're at red flag number 4.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, well, that's our fee. The lowest offer that we have is our management or coordination package.
Right.
Which is at these price points. But based on what you described, they don't align with the service that you're expecting. So she said, well, yeah, that's what we had from the other planner. I was like, okay, well, what did you pay this other planner? And she said $2,000 for full service planning.
Oh.
And like I said, I'm very direct. I'm very transparent.
Like, we're not available that day.
I didn't even say that to this one. I said to her, I'm really sorry that planner did not quote you appropriately and underdelivered on what she promised you, because there is nowhere in the world where someone should be offering full service planning for $2,000. And I'm sorry that you were misled. Good luck with your search. And I ended the call 30 minutes later, and that was a total waste of my life.
Yes, I know. But you had to go through all that.
Yeah, but because I've been doing this so long, like the red flags are instant for me. And it's not that we're looking to get people and like say no to you. We just know what to expect. Yeah. And when you tell me $2,000 for full planning, you're going to be so impossible to please.
Yes.
I can't even pay my staff with that you get under coordination. Like, that's 2 people. I would be in the red.
Tell me about your staff. How many people do you have working for you?
So everyone on the team is a contractor. Okay. So I'm technically a solopreneur.
Yes.
But I have 9 contractors now.
Oh, wow.
And we service weddings through New York, weddings and events through New York, Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, DC, and Virginia. Okay. And then internationally. Okay. So, yeah.
All right.
It's a big team.
So I want to talk about Pinterest a little bit, right? So what I'm finding is a lot of times folks are not even sending me Pinterest boards anymore. They're going right to Instagram and they're pulling things from Instagram, and that's what they're showing me for inspiration. Yeah. Sometimes, a lot of times, the does not match the budget that they're working with. Yeah. And that's a for someone that's very direct, it's an easy conversation. For someone that's not so direct, it can be challenging because you have to let them know, hey, this inspo that you sent me, this is $8,000. I mean, I can eyeball it right now and tell you, you've got a budget of $2,500. This is not going to work. Are you seeing this in, the space that you're in? Yes. Where the inspo, whether they're pulling it from Pinterest or Instagram or whatever, it's not matching the reality, and you have to bring them to reality. Yeah. Okay. All the time. Especially with our full service clients. Like, I think social media and Pinterest and now TikTok, I think these platforms are what make us have to become educators for our clients. While I'm direct, I'm also solution oriented, right? So if someone shows me something that I know is outside of their budget, having the knowledge that I do, I'm able to pick out, like, here's what we can do for what you said you can spend. The scale is completely different. It's not going to give the same impact as what you're looking at in photo A, but this is what it would look like. Gotcha. So I think that's the bring them back down to earth moment is like, I'm doing my job by letting you know these are the options, right? If this is what you want, this is what it's going to cost you. Yeah. If you're willing to, scale back, these are the options. And most of the time, people are going to say, well, I want it to look like this. Right. And then I say, well, then we have to increase the budget or take it from somewhere else. And that's how we manage the budgets with them. Like, sometimes people don't care about, surprisingly, sometimes people don't care about the photography, and they're willing to pay a junior photographer $1,500. Yeah. Which, there are people out there that charge that, but you get what you pay for. And then we have more room to play with money, right? Yeah. So we get in the weeds with our full service client with budget, and only full service clients, because it is a hard conversation. And sometimes you feel like you're like breaking them down and breaking their heart, and they hired you for a reason, right? So if you don't tell them things honestly, then you're not doing your job. So that's how I approach every conversation. I think growing up as a customer service like leader and working in hospitality, you're taught
go above and beyond, do whatever you need to. The customer's always right. But in this space, we all know customers that have never been married before, they're not always right because they don't know anything.
Right. Well, it goes back to that educating them.
Yeah.
They're not informed or misinformed.
Yeah. And they're totally misinformed. I mean, between social media, you also have reputable platforms that are giving misinformation. If I see another post from Wedding Wire and The Knot about the average cost of weddings in this country, like that is such a misleading stat. Because it's so subjective to the location. So the type of wedding you're having, like, it's so frustrating to see that. But it just makes you have to, like, all right, I got to set my game up. I have to keep pushing back on this and commenting on the post so that people see, like, this is not necessarily true. And, you know.
Like, how many of those conversations turn into they start DIYing things? A
lot.
Okay.
And we advise against it. I think those conversations also happen early for us, like before they contract us. And it's 50-50 in terms of when it happens. But I think I kind of want to go a little bit deeper on this because I think what's happening now, and I don't know if it's generational, I don't know if it's because of the state of the industry, I don't know what it is, but I think more and more people don't care about why. They just want to, they just want what they want. So the problem that we have in this industry is that there are vendors that will give them what they want at the wrong price point, and then it creates this misinformation loop, right? Like, there are planners out there that are charging less than $5,000 for full service, and they shouldn't be. And there are rental companies that don't know how to price themselves, so they're charging $100 for a vintage sofa that you had to pay for rental storage fees. You have to pay to transport it. You have to pay the staff that has to place it. Like, people that don't know how to price are the reason that couples have these ridiculous expectations. So.
Yeah. I've been on the end of that. You know, someone wants to rent something and it's like, okay, well, this is the price plus delivery.
Yeah.
Where am I delivering this to?
Yeah.
Because that is my time. That's gas. Yeah. You know, all those things.
And then I'm sure you're not lifting a sofa by yourself.
Correct. Like, that's labor. It's labor. Right? It's labor. So, but, you know, it's always I found this place. They'll do it for this amount of money. And, you know, to your point, I guess we're not a good fit then. Yeah. You know, go have them do it. I'm glad that you found someone that fits your budget. But it does mess things up for the folks who are trying to price their goods and the actual services correctly.
And I think that's something when, as a business owner, we kind of have to step back and figure out, is a rebrand necessary? Is like a shift on our target client necessary? Because if you're getting to a point where your price point, you're not someone that needs to talk to price shoppers if that's what's happening to you. You know what I mean? Like, there's a market for what you offer that's not going to question your pricing. Yeah. So part of the reason why we had to break and have two brands was a day of client that only wants to spend $3,000 is never going to spend $15,000 to $20,000 on a full service planner. Right. The psychologies are different. So I need to be able to have two marketing strategies. And I can't do that on one website with one brand. Right. So that was the reason that we did that, because I was getting to that point where I'm like, I'm talking to hundreds of couples a year on consults, but they're not booking me. Or I'm talking to 55 day of clients that are textbook day of. They've done everything and I don't have an offering for them. That's why we offered the scaled back version for 3 months out, because I'm leaving money on the table at this point, you know, but I just couldn't wrap my head around full service luxury clients being marketed to with the same messaging as a $2,500, $3,000 client. It just doesn't work. So it's maybe a moment of growth, like scaling in the business, when you start having more and more of those conversations where your price point doesn't fit, because it does fit someone, just not the person you're talking to.
Food for thought. Talk to me about like saturation, oversaturation. I've talked about this on a few different episodes. I know in the rental space, there are a lot of folks who are offering the same services. One of the things that I think differentiates what I do is I have a lot of bespoke and vintage pieces. Somebody will see a lamp and say, I want to rent 10 of these. Yeah, 10 of these don't exist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I got this in upstate New York at an antique shop or an estate sale. There aren't 10 of these.
Yeah.
Here's one.
Right.
Because it's not cookie cutter. This was not ordered off of Amazon or Wayfair.
It's not mass produced.
Exactly.
Right.
And when you are looking at vintage items, that tends to be the case.
Yeah.
So that helps because I have a lot of things that, other rental companies don't.
Right.
But then there are, kind of like your standard things that everybody has. And I'm noticing just a boom in the event industry, period. I feel like in all facets. And I guess I'm looking for confirmation from you.
Yeah.
Is that the case for event planning? Yeah.
I think I'm going to just say it and call it what it is. COVID was the birth of business owners.
Yeah.
A lot of people got stuck at home and they had to figure out, well, how can I make some money?
Yeah.
People got fired because they just didn't have an office to go into and they couldn't go remote because of the work that they did. Yep. And a lot of people entered the market during COVID. So it was like a double-edged sword, right? Because you had people with great experience that were trying to continue to be successful, but they got same playing field as the newbies. Mm-hmm. And that's where I feel like the competition and price shopping really ramped up because so many people are offering full service. So many people are offering coordination, but it sounds different when you actually talk to them, but they don't even hear it because all they see is the price point. Mm-hmm. So I think oversaturation is going to be the name of the game. And now you put AI into the mix and people can put in the right prompt and pretend that they've done this before by building the right looking package and charging someone for it. And they've never done a wedding in their life.
With AI generated images, right. I might add. I'm seeing a lot of that. It's like, this is not even, this wasn't even a real event. Like, this is AI. I mean.
And don't get me wrong, I am not against AI. I think using AI properly is going to be the way of the world. We can't ignore that.
No, cannot.
And you can be really successful with it as long as you're honest about how you're using it and you're using it for the right purposes. Mm-hmm. But I think it is a struggle. And I think every vendor, there's hundreds and hundreds of photographers in Philadelphia. Philadelphia alone, Philadelphia's a small city.
Yeah.
There's so many wedding pros here. And I don't think that's going to change. But I also challenge myself to believe in my heart of hearts that there's enough business for everyone. So I don't let it hold me back. And I don't I try not to do the comparison game because
it's hard.
It's really hard, especially with Instagram and, I don't post all the time. Mm-hmm. And I think for a while, when bookings were down, I was kind of concerned, what am I doing wrong? I have the experience, I have the skill set, but I think you have to be operating from a state of always learning, always evaluating, always figuring out what's the pivot needed. Because pivoting isn't a bad thing.
No.
And the market's going to shift. The couples are going to shift. The couples are shifting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I hope that validates you. It's not just in the rental.
Yes, no, it does. It does because I really feel it. I mean, I work out of Delaware. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I travel. So if someone, in New York or New Jersey rents something, I'm there with it. But just in Delaware, it's a very small state.
Yeah.
And I am just seeing so many people starting businesses just in general in this industry. And it makes you wonder, how long am I going to be able to sit at this table and eat and have food? And I think this is something we were talking a little bit about before we started recording, the whole concept of, competition and collaboration, or, the expression is collaboration over competition. Mm-hmm. Have things gotten so saturated that it is ushering in a culture of competitiveness where it becomes dog eat dog? And how can true collaboration happen if that is the environment?
That's a really good question. I mean,
I don't even know if it was a question.
I think it's food for thought, right?
Just thinking out loud.
Yeah. And I think, if you had asked me that when I first started my business, I would probably have a totally different mindset about it. And I'll layer in a whole other topic really quickly. But I'm also the chapter lead for Black women in weddings here in Philadelphia. And a big part of the reason for that is because I did feel like the wedding industry in Philly was more of like this competitive, like I don't have a community within this space. And that's coming from someone who's been in the space for over 15 years. You know, I've worked at all of the Finley venues and all of the venues, and all of these people know me or have worked with me, but I didn't feel like I had a circle of business pros that I could just talk shop with and it not be like, tell me all your secrets so I can go copycat you. And you know what I mean? And I've had people like steal photos from my website and use it to post as their own. And I've paid for branding shoots for my team, and then people turn around and take their headshot and their portfolio photos and build their own. Like, I've had it happen. Yeah. But I also know where I am and where I was, and I don't believe in gatekeeping anything as far as business goes. I think for me, the competition, it comes down to the person who's executing, right? Like, especially on the planning and the coordination side. I can't compare myself with someone who's charging $1,500 for coordination because they're not offering what I'm offering. Right. They're also probably hurting on the inside charging that. And I know that because I've been there. I've been underpriced, underpricing.
Same.
I started out figuring it out.
I think we all have.
And if you don't invest in education, if you don't like figure out what is your niche, what is your end goal, like I think a lot of the time, especially newer vendors, they operate in the now and they're not as forward thinking as they need to be. And you might struggle for a few months in 2026, but what is your plan for 2027? And how do you come out of the struggle? Like having less of a panic mindset, I think, is super important. And you don't get there until you've done this for a long time and really evaluated your business. So I know I'm talking about 8 different things right now, but the competition.
It's all interconnected.
Yeah. And I think it comes back to like checking in with yourself and like having a mindset of, let me stay in my lane and do what I know how to do. And if there's something I don't know how to do, let me figure out how to do it. Right. Like, I don't know everything. I think as business owners, we wear 18 hats, right? Marketing is not my strong suit. I don't have in-house marketing. That's me. I have to figure out, what do I do? What's the strategy? How do I build an ad? What type of ad should I run? What type of messaging? Like, all of that is a dedicated person's job in a bigger company. Yeah. But it's ours as a small business owner. So I think it's not going to go anywhere. I think the competition is going to continue to increase. Which I don't know what that's going to mean, but there's always going to be weddings. We're in the era now of COVID engagements, right? Like, what is it, 6 years now since COVID started? So most of the couples that we've talked to in the last 2 years got engaged and met in COVID. Okay. So weddings aren't going anywhere. Weddings and funerals aren't going anywhere.
True. I think something you said a little earlier was pretty poignant. And it's, when somebody hires you, they're hiring you. And I think that might be the great differentiator between, 4 different companies that are doing the same thing. That client is going to hire you, yes, because of the services that you offer, right? But it's you. Yeah. And there's only one you. So that personality that you are bringing to the table and how you interact with them and just the feeling that they get from being, on the phone with you or you're having a consultation with them face to face. I think a lot of times that's what tips the scales, and that person will book you because you mesh well.
Exactly.
Yeah. So with all of these businesses that we've seen kind of grow out of, what happened with COVID, what do you think it takes to sustain, to be a business that actually sustains this boom, this period of growth? Yeah. Give me a list. Like, what's the criteria? Between the ones that will make it and the ones that will fail.
Yeah. I think the first thing is, I know I just talked about pivoting, but I think stay the course, like big picture, right? Like, your strengths. Don't attempt something. Don't attempt a new offer because it's trending. Attempt it because you can execute that at the highest level, right? So stay the course would be number 1 for me. I think the second thing, nurture your relationships. I hate networking events. I'm more of like a one-on-one connector type of person. And I can talk to anyone. Like, I don't have an issue talking to people. I just feel like networking events are fake. Like, you don't get to the nitty gritty with someone at a networking event. It's so surface level.
It's like speed dating.
Yeah, yeah. You don't find out anything in speed dating.
Yeah.
So I think the majority of what has sustained me, like, I can only speak for myself, are the relationships that I've fostered over the last 15 years. I mean, we're on preferred lists because we earned that, not because I reached out cold.
Yeah.
Hey, can you add me to your list? I can't stand when vendors do that. Like, no, I can't. I don't know you. I don't know how you work. I don't know what you're going to do for my client. So no. I'm thinking about a photographer that wants to be on my list so bad. And I keep telling him, like, I'm sorry. I don't know. You have beautiful videos.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything to me. And it's just the truth. Unless someone books you before they book me, I'm not working with you or referring someone to you because I can't take that risk. So I say all that to say, even if you don't like networking, go to the events. Make it a goal to meet one person that you really want to meet that you know is going to be there, and then foster a relationship with them. If we didn't have venue relationships and relationships with other planners in court, Jewel from Oasis sends me day of clients when they're booked. And we couldn't survive without referrals from people. As much as Instagram is important, Google is important, like, yes, you have to tap all of those things, but you also have to make sure you're a human in this space and people see you and know who you are and that you deliver a good service. Yeah. And I think the other thing I would say as part of the list is always, always, always learn something. If you get to a point where you're not learning anymore, you're probably not going to make it because this industry has shown us all one thing: it is going to change
constantly
over
shifting.
and over and over and over again. Whether it's the couples, whether it's the trends, industry is going to continue to change. Like, things are going to pop up. You just have to be able to see it and accept it and stay relevant. But don't do 80 million things because you think it's going to make you money. Like, do the things you know how to do.
Makes sense. I want to talk about Gen Z.
Okay.
Are these the folks who are currently looking for wedding planners because they're getting married?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm Gen X, old. I know, and my kids are, I guess they're Gen Alpha, I guess.
I don't even keep, I can't even keep up with the generation.
So I guess that's what I'm looking for. Tell me about what Gen Z clients are looking for.
I don't even know if I'm, like, most qualified to answer.
Okay. Well, just give it a shot.
From what I'm seeing, I think they are heavy price shoppers. They really don't seem to care as much about making a connection with the person.
Okay.
They just want the information immediately. So that's causing me to, like, shift a little bit in how we do our thing. Yeah. As far as sales goes. So our pricing is visible. Like, we're transparent about that. And they don't really want to talk to you. So even when we get on consults, I'm noticing with them, they're very short. Yeah. They don't open up. They also don't want to share their budgets. Like, I can't help you if you don't give me your budget. So they're very, I feel like, mysterious. Okay. Quick responses win every time. Yeah. Texting is a must. Yes. Which I had a really hard time with that. Give them the information.
What do you see them wanting for their special day?
Yeah. I think if we're talking about weddings specifically, they are very, very, which is actually a good thing for us, they're very focused on non-cookie cutter weddings. Okay. And this has been something I think that's trending for the past few years, but when you talk to the couple and they talk about what they want, it's a cookie cutter wedding. This generation, it's not a cookie cutter wedding. Like, it's totally turned upside down. We're going to do a whole hour cocktail hour before the ceremony. We're going to do this. We're going to have this experience happening during this. Gotcha. We're going to do this. We're not doing any formality. Like, they're just totally changing what a wedding looks like. And they're investing more in personalization and, like, we want this to feel like us, not us showing up at an event for us. Okay. And I love that. Like, our big thing on DeCourtcey is we plan personalized experience that speak to who you are. And a lot of weddings are not that. A lot of weddings are you show up and the venue tells you what time things are happening. You know exactly what to expect. You know exactly what to expect. Yep. And the guests know what to expect and the couple, like, it's just... all right, 6 hours, $80,000 later, it's over, you know? So they're really focused on making it something memorable and different.
Okay. So you mentioned that they're really like interested in, they aren't sharing their budget with you, but they're looking for, I forget what the phrasing was that you used. Like they're shopping around, like they're price conscious.
Yeah.
Yes, like they're very price conscious.
Yeah.
Is that because they're paying for the weddings themselves?
I am seeing that a lot more now than before.
Instead of like traditionally, it was like
a parent
the parents are helping. Yeah.
I think a lot are paying for it themselves.
Okay.
The other thing I would say is they're also planning like more than one day events now, more. Like, before there was the rehearsal dinner, the day after brunch. Now it's a whole weekend experience for everyone, not just the wedding party. And that started, I would say, within the last couple of years. And it's just continuing. I don't think that's going to go anywhere.
Huh. So. Interesting. Talk to me about trends that you love and trends that you're really hoping phase out.
I don't really love any right now, to be honest. Well, no, that's not true. I do think the full weekend experience is one that I can get behind. I love that. I think when you have a big wedding, you don't really get to spend time with your guests.
Yeah,
but if you have 3 days to try, like there's more likelihood of hanging out with them in an authentic way versus like, oh, hi, kisses, and then 5 minutes of small talk and you move on. So I do like that trend. I think it's super critical to making real connections on your wedding weekend. From a design standpoint, I think I'm loving the emphasis on draping and lighting. It just changes the feel, right? Drama. Like it's just, I like that trend. I really, really want, I know I probably have some couples that are doing this, so don't be mad at me. I really want the audio guest books to go away. Okay. I feel like they're cute. It's, it's nice, but I don't know how necessary they are. I don't know how often you're going to listen to those messages. And it's just been done so often, right? So I would love for that to go away.
Okay.
And I really want the color trend to stick. Like I love classic, but I love when people are a little bit more creative with their color palettes and they're open to more than just greenery for their flowers. Yeah. And just white. Like I love the color infusion that's happening, especially like with the start of spring and summer.
Business tips. So we talked a little bit about, just what's going to help someone have a lasting business that thrives. So I just want to play off of that a little bit, not to repeat it, but for women in the events industry, you can even make it specific to your space as an event planner, as a wedding planner. What are 3 business tips that you would give women who are already in the space and they want to grow or thinking about getting into it?
I would say, I think know your numbers like the back of your hand. Okay. Like, I think a lot of us wait until tax season to really dig in. You need to do it every day or at least once a month. Okay. And really understand what is your most profitable package or offer. Are you even making money on the one that you think it is? Yeah. And really know your numbers. That's tip number 1. I think tip number 2, as hard as it is, try not to compare yourself to other people as much as you can. And tip number 3, I'm going to focus on newbies and tell them, don't be afraid to offer to intern for free. I have had people reach out to work with me that have never worked an event or a wedding in their life. Yeah. But they want a salary. And they don't want to just, hey, I'll offer you a shadow day and see if it's worth a conversation after that. Yeah. That's how I started, right? Like I was sales and events intern at Marriott and I went to the wedding coordinator and said, hey, I want to work more. Do you have any weddings that I can just shadow you on? And she said, yes. I wasn't paid for that. This generation, going back to Gen Z, they don't want to do anything for free. Right. But you got to learn. And you're asking someone to trust you. So you should give them a reason to trust you. Yeah. So I need that to come back. That trend of free internships to come back. But yeah, that's what I would say. I think be willing to learn from people that are doing what you want to do and humble yourself. Like, you don't have to know everything. You have to come with the mindset of, I want to learn.
Yeah.
I would say the other thing, invest in education. Always. Even if you think you know everything about your space, there's always more to learn.
Okay. And how would you recommend they do that?
There's wedding industry educators.
So like professional organizations offer these kinds of things?
Professional orgs offer it. Yeah. Join like a WIPA or, a NACE or whatever company. They have virtual things. They have in-person things. There are also industry pros that were in your spot that have launched into education now.
Gotcha.
I kind of alluded to things coming with DeCourtcey. Yes. I will be launching my education series.
That's awesome.
In Q2, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, congrats.
It's something that, like I shared, I'm one-on-one. I'm very, passionate about building strong people in this industry.
Yeah.
One, because it makes my life easier. I'm working with someone who knows what they're doing, and I can trust the process they went through to get to that point.
Yeah.
And two, it just gives you confidence to build something, right? And there are other coaches out there and educators that had a wedding photography business or a wedding planning business, and now they strictly focus on education. Yeah. So it's out there. You just have to look for it.
Right.
Change your algorithm.
Take some initiative.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, what you said about interning for free and trying to shadow.
Yeah.
That's hands-on education right there.
You can't get
it's worth
any
its weight in
better
gold.
than that.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go back to the question I asked you at the beginning.
Okay.
About your signature drink.
Okay.
What would that be and why?
My signature drink would be a French 75.
Okay. You are the second person that I've had
really
on the podcast to say this drink. I never heard of it.
Really?
Never heard of it until she said something about it.
We're going to go have one after we finish.
Go ahead. Tell me about it.
So I think when I think about myself, I think about my journey. I think about how I carry myself and social media presence and all of that. I am surprisingly refreshing, classic, refined, but a little playful.
I like it. Very nice. All right. Tell everybody where they can contact you.
Yes. So again, on Instagram, we are DeCourtcey Events. Website is DeCourtceyEvents.com. And the styled stem is you just contact me on DeCourtcey, honestly, because it's me answering both. So
yeah. All right. Well, I really appreciate you sitting down with me.
Thank you for having me. This is fun.
It was fun. I like to end the podcast with a toast. Okay. So what are we going to toast to?
Let's toast to...
Well, I mean, right off the top of my head, successful launch of this new project that you have.
Thank you. I wasn't even thinking about me. I was thinking collectively, let's toast to the state of the wedding industry keeping us on our toes.
All right.
And a successful 2026.
Sounds good. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.